Thanks for tuning in. I want to take a few minutes to encourage you from Philippians chapter number 4. Life can throw all kinds of challenges your way, and it most certainly does. Paul understood this very clearly in all of his ministry and journeys. He had suffered, been in prison, beaten, and, all kinds of turmoil. But he says this very interesting thing in verse number 4 of Philippians 4. He says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Now, think about that. When you are diagnosed with an illness or something tragic happens, our instinct doesn't seem to be rejoicing. But Paul reminds us to choose to rejoice at all times because we know that God is our sovereign Lord, our Abba, and the one who cares for us. The one who has promised to use all things together for good because we've been called to his purpose, because we love him and he loves us. And so we choose to rejoice even if we don't feel happy. We choose to give a heart of joy because we know that despite the turmoil, the hardship, and the persecution, we know our victory is secure. We know that we are his beloved. And so we rejoice, not in our circumstances. We rejoice in the Lord always, in the midst of our circumstances. I like how he says, let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. I think a lot of Christians forget to read this verse. Are we being reasonable? Are we living conscious of the fact that the Lord is at hand? That he's not distant to us? That he's in our midst? That he lives in us? That he hears every word we speak, every action we take, every thought that we have? He's in our midst. It's not one to make us feel guilty. It's just to be self-aware that he isn't distant to us. And so even in my hardships, I rejoice. I'm reasonable because I know he lives in me. And then he says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. Anxiety is a weird thing. I went through a little bout of a period of time after my Parkinson's diagnosis where I would just get these bouts of anxiousness, and it seemed overwhelming. And I'm not sure I understand even now what it was all about, but maybe uncertainty about the future. And then all of a sudden, God awakened my heart and reminded me to give thanks. You see, it may seem strange that if you get Parkinson's or you have some other thing, to give thanks. But I came to the realization, if I can give thanks for everything, then I am entrusting myself to God wholly and completely. And so I come to him and I release my anxiety over the future, over the events in the world. I hand everything over to him because he is the only one suited to manage these things. I give it to him in prayer. I make my supplications and I thank him for all, even Parkinson's, because it reminds me every day of my utter dependence on him. It reminds me of the absolute insufficiency of my self-sufficiency, and that in him I have everything I will ever need. And so we make our request known to God, and then the peace of God, the peace which surpasses the understanding of the world, guards our hearts and minds. Because I'm not in control, but he is. And every time I think I need to be in control, I make a mess of everything. And my mind is set on him. The fact that he's called me his beloved. And this is true for you as well. So, choose to rejoice. And let that peace surpass all. Have a great day.